Everyone on Not a Straight Line Live, this is your Act 1 beginner's call. Beginners to the stage, please. Act 1 beginners.
Hello, dear listener. Peter here again, obviously. It's a little bit cooler than it has been the last couple of days, mainly because I am still at the top of my garden, but it has only just gone 7:30 in the morning, and I'm actually sat here in my dressing gown. I came out in bare feet. It's really quite refreshing to have your bare feet on dew-filled lawn. You can probably hear the birds. It's very relaxing here. I am incredibly grateful for house and home that we have, where we live so close to the countryside and fields. I went for a walk with Anne, my wife, yesterday, and within 3 minutes of leaving the house, we're in fields with horses and a brook, running water. Yeah, lovely. I'm incredibly grateful for where I live. Oh, a couple of pigeons having a go at each other in the tree there. So the reason I'm recording this episode so early is that one of the questions that's posed during the hypno breathwork I do is, what's your intuitive next action? And I found it really helpful, that question, over the last few months, just to allow my subconscious to give me a prompt about what really needs to be done. And the thing that came up this morning was what to have a bit of a ramble talk with you about this morning. So I thought, well, don't do my usual of leave it until later, but actually get it in the can now while it's still fresh. And to be fair, there's an even stronger desire to leave it until later, because what I felt that I needed to talk about requires an immense amount of vulnerability. Kind of just backing up a bit, one of the podcasts that I co-host is the Built by Love podcast with my dear friend Daniel Bushus. And a couple of weeks ago, we had an artist on called Ruben Rojas, and his business is Live Through Love. He's a street artist, and he's got a clothing brand, and anyway, check him out. RUBENROJAS. Lovely human. And one of the questions that I don't know whether me or Daniel asked Ruben was about, how he moves towards his goals, how he balances. I think it was about the balance and integration of work life and home life and stuff. And the thing that Ruben replied with was not rocket science, and I'm sure at some level is not something that I haven't heard before. But he used the term non-negotiables. He has non-negotiables in his life, and not surprisingly, they are non-negotiable. And he talked about in terms of his diet and his exercise and relationships and time and stuff. Anyway, when the episode comes out, it'll be well worth a listen. And do you know how sometimes you hear something and it won't go away? It's like a piece of music, it's an earworm. You have an idea, and you have like a thought worm, I suppose. And this idea of non-negotiables, it's really been kind of bouncing around in my head since that conversation with Ruben. And I guess at some level, I have used non-negotiables in my life in the past. Yesterday, I spoke about the nearly 9-year run streak that I built up a few years ago. But in fact, if I hadn't had a 1 week break after 3 years, it would have been a 12-year run streak. I started one for 3 years, and then forgot to run for a day, and then picked it back up after a week. But anyway, that was a non-negotiable in my life. It's like, it doesn't matter what the weather is or how I feel, I'm going out for a 2-mile run. And I've been really struggling with my weight recently, just, eating too much of the wrong things. And in the past, I've got on really well with intermittent fasting, but I would I got out of the habit, and then I would do it for a couple of days and then just go back off. But this idea of non-negotiables just really kept battering is probably a bit hard, but anyway, I decided to use non-negotiables in the way that Ruben talked about. So I put some non-negotiables down, and I hadn't had the conversation with Ruben on the 1st of January, but I have had a non-negotiable going for myself since the 1st of January, and that is no alcohol in 2025. I did that at the beginning of last year. I got to about midway through March, had a glass of wine, and then the next thing you know, it's 1st of January 2025, and I'm still drinking and drinking, too much. That's good for me. And I've done enough reading about the benefits, well, the harm that alcohol does to you physiologically, but also the benefits that accrue with cutting out alcohol. Good friend of mine, Gareth Everson, he hasn't had any alcohol for thousands of days, I think, a few years. We've talked about it a bit. So that's a non-negotiable that's there. We'll get to the end of 25 and see how we are. We might carry on with that. Well, there's also a non-negotiable now of 16-hour fast every day. So it doesn't matter what time I finish eating at night. It's 16 hours before I start eating again. And it's non-negotiable to be fully vegan. So a few years ago, my wife and I did Veganuary, and I got on really well with it, and was fully vegan for a good part of that year. Then, the kind of it's like a repeating pattern, I suppose. You get out of the habit, and I get out of the habit, and then kind of it's like if something's important to you, then it's important to you. So anyway, non-negotiable, no alcohol, 16-hour fast every day, fully vegan. And it's this last one that requires the vulnerability, because it's a level of authenticity and rawness about me that I've never made public. And one of the things that gives me the confidence to do it is something that's come up recently as I've gone through my human design and gene keys. And I find it fascinating, the insight that it's given me into me. And I'd heard of human design before, but never heard of gene keys. So look them up if you want to. But in my gene keys, it says my life's work, what I'm here to do, gene key 26, if you know anything about that. and it said, it doesn't matter, just towards the end of it, it says, it doesn't matter how successful you become, it only matters that you enjoy the thrill of being yourself and putting yourself out there. I do. You are not a person who can hide from others. You are someone whose gift is to reach out and touch others, to stir something within them, to stretch them in some way. It doesn't matter what others think of you. It only matters that you love being you. Well, I do love being me. I'm growing into an ever greater love of myself and who I am. But this last non-negotiable is to deal with an addiction that I've had for most of my adult life, all of my adult life, and that's with pornography. And obviously, when I was, well, I say adult life, it stems back to childhood, really. And back in those days, it was magazines and the like passed around the school playground. But obviously, more recently, it's internet, and it's got in the way. It's definitely got in the way, and it has definitely been an addiction, and it feels very therapeutic to get it out there in the world. So that's a non-negotiable for me now. No internet porn. Knowing me as I am, and I did experiment with no internet porn a few months ago, and again the pattern got out of the habit. I've actually decided to experiment with a non-negotiable of no masturbation, and that sounds really weird and strange to put into my record into my iPhone to go out public on a podcast. But this 30-day challenge is for me, and I appreciate you listening to me. And if what I've said today does, well, what does it say in the Gene Keys, does reach out and touch you and stir something in you somehow, maybe to address or deal with an addiction that you've got, or do something about your health, or whatever it is, non-negotiables. That was the trigger for me, and we'll see where they take me. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope I haven't embarrassed you too much in hearing that. And if it did stir something in you, it would be great to hear from you and connect, because that's something else in my gene keys, I'm sure. I know that it's in me. It's being connected to others. Even those who do not understand you must be embraced as a part of the wider community. It's all about community. It's all about connection. So yeah, that's today's episode, and I'll see you same time tomorrow, I guess. Love you. Bye.